Good morning, guys. This is Miss Smith, and I'm going to be reading a story to you guys this morning. So, today we're going to read Goldilocks and the Three Dinosaurs. What is the normal story that we usually read that sounds like this one? Goldilocks and the what? The Three Bears. So, this one is Goldilocks and the Three Dinosaurs, and it's retold by Mo Williams. So, this version is going to be a little bit different than the one that we normally read. Once upon a time, there were three dinosaurs: Papa Dinosaur, Mama Dinosaur, and some other dinosaur who happened to be visiting from Norway. One day, for no particular reason, the three dinosaurs made up their beds, positioned their chairs just so, and cooked 3 bowls of delicious chocolate pudding at varying temperatures. Do you guys know what the word varying means right here? Varying basically means different. So the 3 bowls of pudding were at different temperatures. What do they normally eat in Goldilocks and the Three Bears? They normally eat porridge, right? But the dinosaurs are eating pudding. Sounds good. Oh boy, said Papa Dinosaur in his loud, booming voice. It's finally time to leave and go to the someplace else. Hee hee hee. Yes, continued Mama Dinosaur. I sure hope no innocent little succulent child happens by our unlocked home while we are, someplace else. Where do you guys think they're going? What are they referring to when they say someplace else? Think about it and make a prediction in your head. Har, 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 hor, har. Then the other dinosaur made a loud noise that sounded like a big evil laugh, but was probably just a polite Norwegian expression. The three dinosaurs went someplace else and were definitely not hiding in the woods waiting for an unsuspecting kid to come by. Definitely weren't doing that. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, a poorly supervised little girl named Goldilocks came traipsing along. Just then, the forest boomed with what could have been a dinosaur yelling, "Gotcha!" But I'm pretty sure it was just the wind. Then the loud noise was immediately followed by another loud noise that sounded kind of like, "Be patient, Papa Dinosaur, the trap is not yet sprung." But that could have been a rock falling or a squirrel. Either way, Goldilocks was not the type of little girl who listened to anyone or anything. For example, Goldilocks never listened to warnings about the dangers of barging into strange, enormous houses. What does the word enormous mean? Can you think of a word that means the same word? It means the same thing as enormous. So enormous means really big. Okay, so we're talking about a really big house. So as soon as Goldilocks came across a strange, enormous house, what do you think she did? She barged right in. Inside, Goldilocks immediately smelled the 3 bowls of delicious chocolate pudding. Mmm, said Goldilocks. That chocolate pudding smells delicious. If only I could get all the way up to the top of that counter. Then Goldilocks noticed a very tall ladder that just happened to be there and certainly wasn't left on purpose. What do you think? Does this sound like a good idea or a bad idea that she's going to use this ladder to go up there? Is that safe for her to do, or is it a bad idea? Yeah, definitely not a good idea and pretty unsafe, right? So let's see what happens when she goes up. Goldilocks climbed up the ladder and found herself face to face with 3 gigantic bowls of chocolate pudding. Lucky her. The first bowl of chocolate pudding was too hot, but Goldilocks ate it all anyway because, hey, it's chocolate pudding, right? The second bowl of chocolate pudding was too cold, but who cares about temperature when you've got a big bowl of chocolate pudding? Not her. The third bowl of chocolate pudding was just right, but Goldilocks was on such a roll by now, she hardly noticed. So how do you think she's feeling after eating 3 bowls of chocolate pudding? How would you feel? Maybe a little sick, maybe tired, maybe A little gross because you ate so much? Soon Goldilocks was stuffed like one of those delicious chocolate-filled little girl bonbons, which, by the way, are totally not the favorite things in the world for hungry dinosaurs. Tired and groggy. Ooh, groggy was one of our vocabulary words this year. Do you guys remember what it meant? Think about it for a second. Tired and groggy, Goldilocks noticed 3 chairs in the living room. So she climbed down the ladder and walked out of the kitchen. Wonder what's going to happen next. The first chair was too tall. The second chair was too tall. But the third chair was, what do you think? Was too tall. So they were all too tall. Goldilocks wasn't going to climb that high just to sit in some chair, so she hiked over to the bedroom. When she got there, Goldilocks noticed that the beds were also gigantically big. "What is going on around here?" groaned the exhausted girl. "The bears that live here must be nuts." What does she mean when she says they must be nuts? It means they must be crazy, right? Just then, the room filled with a loud, booming noise that was either a passing truck or a dinosaur gloating. "A few more minutes and she'll be asleep. Delicious, chocolate-filled little girl bonbons are yummier when they're rested." Even a little girl who never listens to anyone or anything had to hear that. Home sweet home on her little picture on the wall. Goldilocks took a minute to stop and think, which was longer than she was used to stopping and thinking. "Hey," she told herself, "this isn't some bear's house. This is some dinosaur's house." Imagine how you would feel when you realized that you were inside of a dinosaur's house. What emotions would you feel? You probably feel what? A little bit scared, right? Say what you like about Goldilocks, but she was no fool. As quickly as she could, she ran to the back of the door and got out of there. Good idea, Goldilocks. Just then, a loud plane flew by, which sounded pretty much like a trio of dinosaurs yelling, "Now!" or "Charge!" or the Norwegian expression, "Chewy bonbon time." Suddenly, and completely coincidentally, the 3 dinosaurs rushed through the front door. Look at them. What do you think that they were thinking they were about to do? Probably about to what? Eat her. They have their tongues out, they're running in, they look super anxious, but they were too late. Goldilocks was gone, and all that was left in the house were 3 disappointed dinosaurs. Look at their faces. They do look pretty disappointed. The end. Okay? So, the moral of the story is if you ever find yourself in the wrong story, leave. Just like Goldilocks was in the wrong story. Who was she originally looking for? She was looking for the 3 little bears in their porridge, right? I don't know how she ended up in a dinosaur's house. Crazy Goldilocks. The moral for dinosaurs is lock the back door so no one can get in their house, right? All right. So, I want you guys to think about how the dinosaurs felt at the beginning of the story when they were hoping that Goldilocks came to their house. And then I want you to compare it to how they were feeling at the end of the story. Okay? So think about how they felt at the beginning of the story and then compare it to how they felt at the end of the story. What was the difference in their emotions from the beginning and the end of the story? I want you guys to click reply on this lesson and type the answer to that in the comments, okay? Please, please, please remember to click reply because it'll make sure that all of your comments go in the right place and stay on this lesson, okay? I also want you to think about what the main idea of this story is. So remember, this year we talked about main idea. And main idea means what? What is the story mostly about? Okay? I also want you to answer that in the chat below by clicking reply. So I want you to answer 2 things. The first one was, it doesn't matter what order you do them in, but the first one that I mentioned was, I want you to compare how the dinosaurs were feeling at the beginning of the story to how they were feeling at the end of the story. And the second question that I want you to answer is what is the main idea of the story? Which again means what is the story mostly about? All right, guys. Talk to you soon.